What if I told you that the reason we struggle with our body, our health, our energy was from trauma? Today, we're going to talk about my burnout and my stress and something called Martyr syndrome. My intention today is to shed some light on why we struggle with burnout, adrenal fatigue, and feeling almost resentful and feeling like a doormat and feeling like we do so much for everyone else. And we almost have guilt or fear when it comes into putting time, energy, or money, or whatever it is, into ourselves. Sometimes when we have failed over and over, like, it affects our self-esteem. And now it's not a fun place to be with women in the world who are very self-conscious, and women who are on edge, and women who just deep down aren't happy with themselves. Even though they may feel in denial, they still look at other women or sexy bodies and think, wow, I'll never have that. Or maybe they do really deep down want it, but they don't allow themselves to want it, right? So I'm here to show you that it doesn't have to be that way. And so let's go straight into it. There's something called Martyr syndrome. I was a victim of circumstance. Everything was, look what happened to me. Oh, my kids are sick today. Oh, my kid went off the rails, or my husband's doing this, or the boss did this, or everything was, I was so reactive. I was reactive. Women in general, the problem with a lot of us is that we're trying to be men. We're trying to be masculine, where we are one-way thinkers, we focus, we get things done. We're just trying to be men. And that's a lot of times what creates burnout, because women in feminine energy, which, by the way, just because you're a guy or girl does not mean you have one of these or you don't. Science has proven that everybody has feminine, masculine energy. There's a very small percentage that has just like one certain energy, right? So we all have feminine and masculine. So Martyr syndrome, if you can identify this, by the way, and like start working on it, increase your emotional intelligence, or just actually, start watching some of my videos or working with us to heal your trauma, life's going to be much different for you. So it can actually prevent stress on your relationships and burnout. It's a victim complex or victim mentality, okay? And actually, if you don't fix this, you're going to be a very toxic mother. You're going to be a very toxic partner, okay? Because low key, it's almost like we do stuff out of manipulation when we don't even realize it. When we do things and we're like, well, why isn't he doing that? I did that. I told her yes, so she needs to pay me back this favor. That's wounded feminine. That's the wounded part of women that don't like other women. It's because we need to shift out of the wounded energy and get into the divine energy. And it's going to take some time, okay? But shifts happen really, really quickly. They can be instantaneous. I mean, think about one of the happiest moments of your life where you're really proud of yourself, okay? That's an energy shift. That's how fast you can change once you're just open to receive the healing and the healing. Once you're just open to receive and see things differently, it can totally happen. You just have to say that. You have to say it. You have to want that. The reason that a lot of women struggle with weight, body, health, anything like that is it's really just a lot of the martyr complex, doing for anybody else and taking pride in how much you do for everybody else, and how just there's nothing left in your tank because you just go and do for everybody else. I mean, that's cool, but what do you got to show for it? So think of it like that, okay? You're going to be able to do more. You're going to be able to give more. You're going to be able to do and give more and be a better mom, wife, and everything, and actually have it all if you understand that the only reason that you struggled this whole time was because of trauma. So at its core, the victim complex involves someone viewing themselves as a victim of their life events. They often express that bad things always happen to them, claim that they have no control over life, and they don't really take responsibility for what they do. Because a lot of women, we were taught to sacrifice everything, give up everything we want for others for the greater good. That's not good. And now it comes from trauma, and I'm not going to go into that here. This is just identifying why we have low self-worth, why we feel like we have to do so much, and why we're running ourselves in the ground, and why no diets ever work, and why we're holding on to weight. It's all from trauma, and this is just like one small smidgen of it. This is like tip of the iceberg. But once you open up to this way of thinking and go, oh my God, wow, I'm not dumb. I'm not less than. I'm not unworthy. I just didn't know these things. Because odds are, we're just kind of doing things the way we were taught, and the great, awesome women in our family who did the same thing, right? But that's not a vibe. Okay, the need to feel needed. That's the martyr complex, and that's why nothing else is working out and everything's a struggle. Bringing back the understanding of why we do the things we do to be able to choose a different way that feels a little bit better, so we can break the cycle and the cycle of things not working out and actually bring our children up the way they deserve it, just like you deserve. You deserve to not walk around on eggshells, and you deserve to have the things you want, have the body that you want, but you got to learn how to do it. Or you can just keep living miserable, but not until you understand how to approach this in a way where you address your trauma and the way you think and your energy in which you just do everything, oh man, you're just gonna stay in that trauma cycle, because we're always looking for, how do we stay in the familiar? So anything that feels discomfort or feels uncomfortable, hello, we're not going to do that. So we're going to always look for things to come in our way to go, see, I knew this would happen, because we want familiar. We want that. It's not knowing is what's so scary. But when you learn why you've been so scared, you're like, you embrace this. You get in touch with your true divine energy of being a woman or man, and you find you're happy, and you find results finally, and you find a world you didn't even know existed.